Hey guys, ChaoticMeatball here and welcome back to another challenge video. This time, I decided to blend my love of doing challenge videos with Mega Man this time around, and upon seeing Game Champ 3000's no damage runs of Rockman 1 and 2, I decided I wanted to try it with Mega Man X, my all-time favorite game. First of all, this is a damageless playthrough, meaning if I take damage in the run whatsoever, I have to reset and try the game all over again. This leaves no room for error, so knowing what the stages have in them and the patterns of all enemies and bosses is key to being able to complete this run. I'll be using an English ROM of the game through an emulator, however I do own the Legacy Collection. I just find it better to capture footage through an emulator for quality's sake. But we won't be able to use any functions that a normal Super Nintendo can't provide to us, those being save states and auto-fire specifically. Lastly, we have to get every item in the game, meaning that all armor, heart tanks, sub-tanks, and the Hadoken must be obtained in the playthrough. I could do this without collecting those, but it wouldn't be nearly as fun. And with those out of the way, on to the run. Mega Man X begins with an intro stage that is pretty simple to go through, but can have some RNG, specifically in two places. Knowing the enemies and keeping your distance is key, but the B-Bladers have other plans. If they fire missiles at you, it's basically game over unless you can react extremely quickly. But if they fire the machine gun or are completely passive, those mini-bosses are extremely easy to take down. Get through the car section by repeatedly charging your buster and make your way to Vile's airship. After destroying 2 cars, he'll come down and, well, I guess we've already failed the run. You see, you're scripted to lose this battle, so just take the damage and allow the cutscene to play as normal. We'll also have to do this in the first Sigma Fortress stage, but these are special cases that you don't see in the classic Mega Man games, so this is an exception. With the intro stage out of the way, we have our 8 Maverick bosses to take down. Going in the correct order is key to survival, as well as reducing any backtracking, since that means we have to go through some levels again to get items, meaning more opportunities to get hit. Always begin with Chill Penguin stage, as he's got the important dash boots, which are useful for evasion, but also progressing faster. If you know there's a section that you can safely dash through, go for it, otherwise be extremely cautious. This upgrade also has another function, in that we can do double damage with normal buster shots if we're dashing while doing so, making it more effective than charge shots at times, specifically on bosses that we have to do with the buster. The stage is fairly simple. Keep steady while charging shots and wait if you need to, then go on through. There's a ride armor that we can sacrifice to get above the most dangerous part of the level, so we'll want to do that, leaving us with some snowball enemies. This isn't too hard thanks to dash shots, and making sure to neutralize the rolling snowballs since they can be a run ender if you're not careful. Chill Penguin himself has a very easy pattern, with only a few attacks. He also recoils when you land a dash shot or a fully charged shot on him, so use that to your advantage if he's jumping towards you. With this destruction, we get the Shotgun Ice, and we're able to move on to Storm Eagle stage. You may be thinking that we should go in the weakness order, but remember, we're wanting to go for the order that gives us the most helpful things, and for the least backtracking. Plus, this stage is super simple and doesn't have to be revisited, so it's best to take it out now. Dash jump to the left when you get to the top so you can grab the heart tank and make your way back up. Using this platform allows us to get a sub-tank and carefully platform around these flamethrower enemies. They can hit you pretty easily if you're not careful. Lastly, we've got the head parts for X, and the last section of the stage, which can trip players up if they're not careful. These turrets fire missiles that are probably the most irritating enemies in the stage, but are easily destructible, so take your time and then jump down to face Storm Eagle. Most of his attacks don't do any damage, so fill him with dash shots, and use a charge shot for whenever he drops the birds. He'll also dive as well, but those can be easily avoided with a simple dash and punished with a charge shot. With that, Storm Eagle is toast and we get the Storm Tornado, one of the more useful weapons of the game. Now to get on weakness order. Flame Mammoth is up next and his stage is a doozy. Most of it you can just dash underneath to avoid everything, leaving just the upgrades to worry about. The Buster upgrade can be avoided technically since you can get Zero's Buster parts in Sigma Fortress 1, but pulling out a very precise dash jump can net us these parts extremely early, giving us access to a larger charge shot and charged special weapons, which will be extremely useful with 2 weapons coming up. In fact, use the charged Shotgun Ice here so that we're able to wall jump to the sub-tank without any danger. Drop back down and dash towards the heart tank. Take out the minor enemies and wall jump to safely above. This last section has quite a few things to damage you, so jump accordingly and take out the Hoganmers Hoganmers? Are they Hulk Hogan? To reach the fight with Flame Mammoth. He tends to jump to the left as his first action, so avoid and fire off storm tornadoes. If you're close enough, he'll get hit twice, but that's a risk if you're not careful. Lay on the final shot to claim the Fire Wave, another great weapon. I decided now was the time to stop back into Chill Penguin stage to grab the heart tank now that we have the Fire Wave, exiting towards our next target, Boomer Kuwanger. His stage has two of the most difficult sections of the game, both the laser detection and the spiked elevator sections with enemies. Not gonna lie, I lost 4 runs here, and it was extremely frustrating, but I finally got a pattern down after some practice. The laser detection enemies can't get you if you don't cross them, so staying above and destroying the enemies up there is your best way of getting through, though you can dash through the lasers while they're not on, but the timing is extremely precise. The elevator can be cheesed with the fire wave and jumping as long as you know where the enemies fly down from and where the spiked areas will be, and you should be fine. The vertical portion of the stage is pretty easy. Just go quickly with the fire wave and take out anything that really gets in the way, grabbing the heart tank with a trusty charged shotgun ice, or this really pixel perfect wall jump. Shoutouts to Walrus Prime, he makes this look really easy in the world record run. One more vertical section stands in the way, but it can also be easily taken care of with some good dodging and weapon usage. Also, I'm going to make this video extremely dated by saying this, but okay, Boomer, your time is up! Hugging the walls and coming down with charge shots is your best bet, but watch out for the boomerang cutter. Avoiding that is key to winning. Take down this boomer and net the boomerang cutter, which will be useful in a few places. Next up is Spark Mandrill. There's nothing too insane in this stage, but still, be on your guard. And Storm Tornado is still your best friend. Grab the sub-tank at the beginning of the stage and use the tornado throughout, especially on the large blue enemies in the corridors with the light dashing enemies, and the charged version for the mini-boss. Getting through these sections practically guarantees you a shot at Spark Mandrill since everything else can be cheesed with a bit of memorization. Grab the heart tank halfway through the stage with a well-placed dash jump, and it's time for Spark Mandrill. Oh, Spark Mandrill. With this frosty defeat, we can get the Electric Spark, which literally is a better version of the Spark Shock you get from Sparkman and Mega Man 3. I guess it pays to have a name close to a Robot Master. Armadillo is next, and don't be intimidated by the rolling platforms. Stay back on them and lay out steady shots so that nothing ahead of you can possibly hurt. Get to the first mini-boss and jump back up to get the sub-tank, and then take him out from behind with the Fire Wave. Use it throughout the stage to stay safe until the next rolling platform, where it's also smart to lay down steady fire. Get to the second boss and slide down the right wall to land safely in front and make a mad dash to the heart tank. The last rolling platform is the most threatening, but again, leave a steady amount of fire and you'll get to Armored Armadillo safely. Fully charge up the Electric Spark and let it off immediately to get some damage before the rolling begins. Just dodge until he decides to uncurl and starts firing at you. Land spark shots and he's gone. With his destruction, we get the Rolling Shield, a fantastic weapon that both does great damage and has great protection when the charged version is used. Next up is Launch Octopus. Take out the beginning enemies and then before descending into the water, charge up the Rolling Shield. This won't break no matter how many of the Seahorse enemies you hit down here, so make your way to the mini-boss and break out the Storm Tornado. Keep laying in shots and destroying his smaller worm-like enemies and his top laser, and he won't stand a chance. Afterwards, make your way to the second one, carefully going through the fish enemies to do so. This one's a bit more tricky since there's spikes, but keep yourself airborne and continue to lay in storm tornadoes until it goes down. Jump up these vortexes and fire a tornado into the ship, allowing it to destroy the floor. Charge it up and unleash it on the Sea Dragon mini-boss to destroy it in one shot, giving us access to the heart tank behind the wall. Climb back up and do the same thing to the second Sea Dragon, which you can actually hit while underground, so it has no threat to you whatsoever. Storm Tornado through the last few fish enemies, and we've got ourselves another boss fight. Use the Rolling Shield and use it wisely to take out Octopus's missiles and lay into him. If you're lucky with his patterns and don't get any homing torpedoes fired at you, you'll easily win the fight. If there are homing torpedoes, dash jump across the screen as they come towards you to avoid them, and hope you have enough room to recover. With his destruction comes the homing torpedo, not too useful except for boss weaknesses. Last one up is Sting Chameleon, and this is a really chill stage before the Sigma Fortress stages, so take your time and use your buster accordingly. Go down through the water to grab the last heart tank of the run, and the hardest part of this whole stage is this mini-boss right before the light capsule of the stage. But its pattern is easily readable, so it can be taken out easily with a variety of weapons. The rest of the stage is pretty simple to buster only your way through up until the ride armor, which can cheese the rest of the stage since you can't take damage while inside of it. So just dash your way up through the end of the stage. Sting Chameleon is also a joke. Immediately fire off Boomerang Cutter and avoid if Chameleon fires off anything. From there, just continue to fire them off until he's dead. It's crazy how many of these bosses can be cheesed. And with that, it's time to get the Hadoken. You do have to die multiple times to grab this, but making your way through the stage multiple times without getting hit sounds harder, so let's do that. After maxing out lives on the Bubble Bat here, make your way to this top platform using strats stated earlier in the video, and die. Do this a few more times, and then we'll have the last light capsule of the game, giving us the one-shot, all-powerful Hadoken. Take this to the Sigma stages. You'll need it. The first stage is pretty easy to cheese, since the charged Chameleon Sting can make you completely invincible for a short period of time, and the charged Rolling Shield is amazing for taking out smaller enemies and grinding weapon energy if anything happens to be low. Remember, baby steps are good, but blasting through stages quickly is more fun, so let's do it this way. Start with Storm Tornado and charge up a Rolling Shield to get up through the main part of the fortress. Storm Tornado is again your friend here as well, so keep using it until you hit the cutscene with Zero and Vile. If you're aware, you could actually skip the cutscene by wall jumping to the left side of the screen and dash jumping to hit the door without touching the floor. This kinda spazzes out the game, and it's pretty funny to see. This is the last time we're scripted to lose a fight, so go ahead and get pummeled by Vile, let Zero destroy himself to destroy his ride armor, and send him to his doom with a Hadoken. The rest of the stage is pretty simple. Get through to the next boss door with 2 charged Chameleon Stings, and Hadoken Boomer Kuwanger. Charge Chameleon Sting again and get to the boss door for the fight with the spider boss. Hit him with the... I said hit him with... Come on, please just... It's not that hard to do the input. There we go, jeez. The Hadoken is a little bit delayed after you do the quarter circle forward before pressing shoot, so keep that in mind if you're trying to do it fast in boss battles, especially coming up. Sigma Fortress 2 starts with a few enemies, so use whatever you feel most comfortable with to get up to the first boss door. Hadoken Chill Penguin and move on to the last ride armor section of the game. Again, you can't be damaged while inside of the suit, so take it as far as you can and go up the right side of the vertical shaft with the charged Chameleon Sting. You can also use charged Rolling Shield if you're running low on Sting ammo. Hadoken Storm Eagle and get through the last bit of the stage to fight Rangda Bangda. What a name. You can hit it with the Hadoken, but since each eye is 1/3 of the health bar, and the middle area is another third, it's best just to use precise shots of the Chameleon Sting, and if you need to charge it, do it, as long as you have enough weapon energy. One more real stage left. Sigma Fortress 3 starts with a very small vertical area. Charge up Electric Spark and destroy the large enemy, then use the homing torpedoes for the smaller enemies. Use a charged Shotgun Ice to launch yourself into the door so that the game sort of glitches out and doesn't spawn the Armored Armadillo rematch. Just don't jump while in this room or else this happens. Yeah, that was my fault. I really wish I didn't do that. Playing back through the entire game and somehow not losing my run, I didn't jump here and went through another small vertical shaft to fight Sting Chameleon again. There's this really neat strategy that you can do to fire a Hadoken, but I went with the safer strategy of just using the Boomerang Cutter again, taking him out. Spark Mandrill is just as big of a joke as he was before. Launch Octopus is easy now that we have the Hadoken and don't have to worry about dumb RNG. Flame Mammoth is easy enough to take care of with the Hadoken, so nothing in the stage should touch you. The last boss for this stage is the D-Rex tank. He can be hit with the Hadoken, but you have to be a bit more precise than I'd feel comfortable with for this run. So I went straight for him with the Boomerang Cutter, taking him out rather quickly. The last stage is a vertical shaft with no enemies that will spawn as long as you keep climbing up. After a few brief words from Sigma, Hadoken is dug for more words. Hadoken is Jedi form, and here we go. The final battle. We're so close. Be wary of his claws. Wolf Sigma can hit you extremely easily if you're not careful, since they can both hit you from the bottom with his claws, as well as the lightning that comes out from both the top and bottom of them. The left side is the safest side most of the time, as the only time you have to move from there is when the hand is as close to the wall as possible and about to fire off a lightning bolt. A few shots of Rolling Cutter later, and bam, the Mega Man X no damage run has been eliminated. This run was extremely difficult. I mean, even as a seasoned player of the game that has been playing this game for 10 years and knows most of the speedrun strategies, it was hard. It was incredibly fun to take a whole day's worth of time just playing this game, though, coming up with strategies and pulling it off. I don't have quite as much experience with X2 through X6, and barely any at all with X7 and X8, so I might do a few more of these challenges in the future, but not extremely quickly. However, if you do want to request a challenge from me, you can do that through my Patreon, where you can do a $50 pledge and request any challenge from me that you want, within reason, of course. Also, follow my Twitter for updates about videos, and so that I can call upon you in case YouTube decides to trash my channel because I looked at their logo funny. Links are in the description. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on Saturday for another Pokemon challenge.